Hey y'all, how's it going? Welcome back. It's Mia, and today I am reviewing Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery from Rian Johnson. And this one I was so excited to see because I saw the first one, Knives Out, back in theaters when it came out, and so I was really surprised actually to find out that this one was was supposed to be like a direct to Netflix release. I was like, how can you have one of the best movies of all time, be released in theaters and then all of a sudden get this direct to streaming? Coming from someone who knows about the Disney Vault, that's kind of insulting to make something direct to Netflix now. And I know that's not always the case. There's a lot of great stuff coming out, but so anyway, that's why I am glad that Glass Onion got a bit of a theatrical release. Once this video was released, I believe there are no more showings of Glass Onion. This is it until it comes out, I believe, on Netflix on December 23rd. But overall, yeah, I really like this movie. It was just as fun as the last one, and this is weird because it's one of the few instances where I can genuinely say, like, this is a very great movie, and it's just like the predecessors, so much so that the original and the sequel are both on the same level, where it's like hard to pick which one is better, at least for me. And I think the only time I've ever been able to say that was with Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2, because I'm like, they're both just really good movies. I can't really say which one is better than the other. That being said, I think there is a way for, depending on how you look at it, for one movie to be better than the other. Again, they're both strong stories. I just think it will come down to preference. So preferentially, if that is a word, I liked the original Knives Out better, and I think it has something to do with just the cast and because they're family. I think I just like that story better. Again, but that's not to say I didn't like Glass Onion. I think Glass Onion is still clever. It's hilarious, and let's see if I can sum up the plot for you without revealing too much. This is one of those times where I have to read from my script so that I, don't have anything like a Marvel sniper on me for revealing too much. So anyway, from the trailer, you can see Edward Norton is hosting a party on his private island for all of his friends, as well as Detective Benoit Blanc. Of course, you can imagine things don't go smoothly once they arrive on the island, and it's up to Blanc to discover what's up with this crazy friend group and, of course, solve the big murder mystery. So I will say, man, going into this, I was a little afraid. I was like, oh my gosh, Knives Out was so unique as far as murder mysteries go in that genre of movie because the storytelling was so unique, right? We get this whole story, but we kind of already figure it out by the end, and I was like, how is he going to basically try to capture lightning in a bottle twice, right? Like, how is he going to do something that unique without also just kind of being too derivative of the first movie? And I think it's safe to say he definitely pulled it off again in this movie as far as having a unique way of telling the story. And I'm like, really, if I dive too much deeper into any of this, any of how he tells the story, it would be giving too much away. But I do have to give my hats off to him because it, again, is unique storytelling, and it really is one of those mysteries that keeps you guessing and keeps you guessing. And it's a rewarding way of keeping you guessing because you don't really like when mysteries play out and you get this rug pull, but it makes no sense, right? You want everything to feel earned, and you want everything to feel like it all clicks into place without them having just like jump to the conclusions and being like, see, you should have known that. So I'm really glad and happy to say that every bit of writing was clever. To me, there were no plot holes. Maybe CinemaSins some way down the line will have some stuff to pick apart, but I think it's some really clever writing. And like, just because of that, I'm like, okay, Rian Johnson, if he could maybe pull this off one more time with another Benoit Blanc movie, I would really appreciate a trilogy. I wouldn't want to ask for more than 3 movies from him, but I think 3 would be perfect. So yeah, speaking of Benoit Blanc, man, Daniel Craig in this was just so awesome. I really love him. I really love that Kentucky Fried accent that he puts on. And it's just so funny because you're like, this guy was James Bond. I never even really latched on to him in his Bond movies, but in this movie, I really love him. I really love the way that they've developed his character. And it also helps that it's like, this is a mystery movie, but it's really like 50% murder mystery and 50% comedy. So Rian Johnson really dives into that comedy aspect, and I think the comedy is perfect. We had like a packed house when we went, and so it was just also kind of cool to hear everyone's reactions to the jokes and some of the special things that go on. So on top of Daniel Craig, it's like the whole cast was pretty phenomenal. Like Edward Norton really stood out in this. I also love Dave Bautista, and if I had to nitpick one performance, it would be Janelle Monáe's. I don't think I haven't seen much of her acting except for maybe Hidden Figures, but otherwise she has a good character. So the character is written really strong. So I kind of give a pass to that. It doesn't really detract from too much, but yeah, otherwise the rest of the supporting cast, they just play really well with each other. And it's just, again, it's such an odd script kind of compared to the original Knives Out that you can tell hopefully the cast had a lot of fun shooting this. And so anyway, after seeing this, any sort of flack that I may have given Rian Johnson, not like I'm like going out on Twitter and like adding him or anything like that, but just in my head, any kind of flack, or I might have written it online, who knows, that I might have given Rian Johnson as far as his whole The Last Jedi era. I really do take it all back, but I also think it kind of shows us that, you know, maybe directing a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie really shouldn't be considered the pinnacle of a director's career. I know, like, maybe for some actors as well, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, you just got cast in the MCU or in Star Wars. But if we're specifically talking about directors, I think that, you know, maybe it shows their strengths lie in one genre as opposed to whatever we want to call Marvel and Star Wars and this big machine. Like, for instance, I was watching, I watched Eternals. I hated that. But I went later on and watched Nomadland by Chloe Zhao, and that was brilliant. That was a really amazing film. So I'm like, it's almost like asking Stephen King to write a romance novel, right? It's just not where their strengths lie. And so that's why I'm glad that, at least for me as a Star Wars fan, it feels like he's really redeemed himself. And like I said, I'm looking forward to a third movie. Anyway, rant over. This was really great. I cannot wait to watch this again when it comes out on Netflix. So it's like watching a movie again on 100% mode. You kind of know everything that's going to go on and you're looking out for those different things. And yeah, I believe because this movie was so good, in my book, I'm going to give it an A+. This is top tier quality. It's really great. And if you have not seen it yet, you definitely got to go out and see this movie, or stay in and watch this movie on Netflix, or go out and put it on a projector in your backyard. But please, yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought about this movie, or if you're looking forward to seeing it. Let's keep it spoiler free for now since the movie hasn't been out on Netflix yet. But yeah, if you enjoyed this conversation, please be sure to leave a like. It really helps out the channel. And if you love Netflix, I've got a lot of great stuff to talk about for Netflix this year. I'm going to review Wednesday Addams pretty soon. So, or rather the Wednesday Addams series. It's been really fun to watch. So I'm wrapping that one up like now. And I'm excited to talk about that. So please subscribe so you know when that video is coming out, and stick around because we have a ton of reviews to talk about, past, present, and future. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye.